Hey YouTube, Chris, a thrift shop hustler. Today is Tuesday, so you know what that means, Toys R Us Tuesday, where we take a toy from the past and we dive deep into its history and kind of explore what it was all about and go over current prices and collectible value of it. So once again, I'm Chris, thrift shop hustler, and this is Toys R Us Tuesday. So today we're actually going to talk about Fireball Island from 1986. And you might ask yourself, what is Fireball Island? I'm not familiar with this. Or you might be familiar with this. It is a three-dimensional tabletop board game. Back in the day, it was pretty popular because of its unique kind of look and feel and gameplay. There wasn't too many three-dimensional games back in the 80s. This kind of started like a whole kind of revolution of this sort of game. And today it's very collectible. So let's get right into it. We are going to show you a photo of the box. So this is the box, very iconic box. For those that grew up in the 80s, you probably own this game and you probably did what everyone else did, was throw it away. And that's part of its allure and its collectability, is that these didn't pretty much survive, and if they did, they're missing all kinds of pieces. Also, it had a plastic kind of like board setup where it was vacuum formed. And for those that don't know what vacuum form is, it's kind of like a heated piece of plastic, and then it goes down onto a another kind of mold, and the vacuum kind of sucks it into its form. These were very flimsy and they broke very easily, and not to mention that the game pieces would get lost all the time. So finding a complete one of these is a challenge for sure. In the 30 years that I've been reselling, I've never came across one of these in the wild, thrift store, estate sale, or anything. And it's very surprising because, I've seen a lot of board games, but I've never seen this one. So it wouldn't be Toys R Us Tuesday without showing you a commercial. Let's see if we can get this to work.
Danger lurks on Fireball Island. More than a mere board game, it's a three-dimensional adventure. Your quest, the idol's jewel.
Coward, I'll go first. A shark!
But it's not so easy. Mountains and chasms stand in your way.
Yes!
And beware, your foes are out to stop you with thundering fireballs.
That damn fireball.
And collapsing bridges.
Oh no! Got it! Dog me!
And you don't win till you're off Fireball Island, the three-dimensional adventure from Milton Bradley.
That's a classic.
Danger.
So that's pretty much what it is, and let's check out some of the eBay stuff on this. And as you can see, a complete one goes for anywhere between $200 to $400, depending on box condition. As you can see, look at this box is pretty much tore up. Still went for $300. A real tore up box here. So yeah, if you ever come across this, you have to look at the condition of this board. It's like a plastic, hard shell plastic. And also there was lots of pieces, like I said. Finding the instructions, of course, like some of the main pieces are going to be like the jewel and Volker, which is this kind of like idol thing right here. And of course the bridges. The thing also that's pretty hard to find is the little fireballs, because those pretty much got lost. A lot of people use like red marbles to replace that. The figures are pretty easy to get if you're missing that, and the dice. But like honestly, some of the hardest things, like I said, is finding the jewel, finding the instruction book. And the funny part is, if you actually come across one of these, you can literally pretty much, if you don't want to sell the whole thing, or if you're missing a bunch of pieces, you can literally sell every piece for a good amount of money. And let's get into some of the eBay comps like we were just in right now. So like I said, like you saw, a complete one goes for about $200 to $400. And that price has actually gone up a lot over the last 10 years. I remember doing research on this 10 years ago, and these were going for like $80 to $100. And even back then, I thought that was a pretty crazy price to pay, because like back in like 10 years ago, I was finally realizing that old board games, from the 80s, certain ones are worth a pretty good amount of money. So let's actually go a little bit further down here, and we'll show you that some of the high prices, like look at this. This was just an unpunched, an unused SKU. If we can get a photo of this, of just the pieces. This went for $150. Now this was just, you know, it's kind of brand new. The little pieces haven't been taken out from the sprue, which is an old model term. I said sprue, and that's right. I think I said something else before. And let's see here. So that's crazy. So like that, I've never seen this before, but one of them sold $150. The cards, all 48 cards went for 70. The game board only went for 60. Now let's go into the pieces. Like, so, okay, here's a little mountain thing, the Volker's head, 40. The little guys went for 30. Look at these little hex pieces that the jewel goes in, $27. Look at the instructions, $26. I mean, even the pieces, just the little tiny pieces. Look at little guys even went for almost $20 a piece. The little bridges, the jewel. So yeah, definitely look out for Fireball Island. It was a classic for sure. And it was a pretty fun game. I remember playing this a lot. And the thing is, when I was younger, we didn't even realize that, you know, some of these games are going to be worth so much, or I probably would have kept better condition of it, because to this day I would still love to play this again and bring back some of those memories. As you can see, this one sold for $199 with free shipping. You can actually probably park that out. Oh, it's actually a is it a French version? Oh, interesting. I never saw that before. Italian. So yeah, you can even buy these if you can get these cheap enough on eBay. If, let's say, you can find a complete one for like $100. Look at this one, not complete. You can definitely just part it out. There's definitely some side hustle that is definitely going on there if you can get this for cheap enough and just basically part it out. And that's kind of another pro tip too, is some of these board games that you'll come across in Goodwills and stuff, just do your research, because some of the pieces of some of these games are pretty valuable. Like this one, if you were able to find this and you were able to part it out. So just do your research on board games. There's a lot of higher priced ones that go from the range of between 80 and 200. Fireball Island being one of them. So this was from 1986. Finding the box in good condition is super hard. And I've seen, believe it or not, I've seen sealed Fireball Islands go for around $1,200 to $1,400, and that's sealed. So this stuff is out there. Like I said, in the 30 years that I've been doing reselling, I've never came across one of these, but I'm sure they're out there. So just keep your eye on it. And for Toys R Us Tuesday, that is your Fireball Island. Let me know in the comments below if you still have this game, if you remember this game, and your thoughts on that, and if you've actually seen these at thrift stores and garage sales and things like that. So I'm Chris, the Shop Hustler. Please click the subscribe button if you want to see more of these videos. Every Tuesday we dive into another vintage toy collectible, and we show you what's up and a little bit of history behind it, and maybe something that you never thought of before when you're out there sourcing. So click the like button if you enjoyed this video. Everyone, thanks. Have a good day.